It took everyone by surprise. Scientists at the Netherlands Institute for Brain Research recently made a stunning discovery about why some people stay mentally sharp in their 80s and 90s while others spiral into cognitive decline as early as their 60s. They discovered it has nothing to do with genetics or even normal aging. Instead, it all comes down to declining levels of what scientists are calling vitamin M, a memory vitamin that acts as a powerful antioxidant for your brain, which has been proven to slow brain aging by clearing out inflammation, toxic proteins, and more. The problem is, many people become deficient in this vitamin over time. And once you understand the reality of this vitamin M deficiency, it becomes clear why so many seniors find themselves struggling to recall simple words, setting timers and checklists just to get through the day, or lying awake at night worried about losing their memories as they age. Yet, as troubling as that may sound, you're about to discover that it's actually remarkably easy to boost levels of vitamin M in your brain. It all comes down to an exotic blue algae that's proven to flood your brain with this vital compound. And as you'll see in a moment, NASA astronauts have publicly called this blue algae the most powerful food available to mankind. That's why I am so glad that you found your way to this presentation. Because no matter how worried you are about your memory right now, I believe this simple solution could bring you real, tangible results, just like it's already done for more than 50,000 men and women across the United States. Like David from Bristol, Rhode Island, who wrote in to say, "When I reached 65, I started having cognitive issues. During conversations, I'd forget words. I tried many different supplements, but none of them really worked. And then I watched a video about this memory vitamin, and I decided to try it. After about 2 weeks, I noticed a difference, and I started remembering things better and was able to have a conversation without forgetting words. And I'm glad I found it." And Robert from Brentwood, New York, who said, "At 70 years old, my short-term memory is slowly improving and people's names come easier. I call that a blessing." And one of my personal favorites is Susan in Boston, Massachusetts. "I was so scared I was losing my mind. I'd walk into stores and I'd forget what I came for. And then I watched your video and it changed everything. And after just a few days of trying this blue algae trick, I remembered things that I hadn't been able to in years. It was like a veil had been lifted and I could finally see clearly again. Thank you for giving me my life back." Hi, my name is Dr. Blaine Schilling. And before we go any further, let me address the elephant in the room. If you're like most of my clients who are worried about their memory and their brain health, then you've already tried many of the so-called solutions that are out there. Things like memory support supplements, ginkgo biloba, brain strengthening games like Sudoku or crossword puzzles, or maybe adding more brain foods to your diet like blueberries or leafy greens. Now, if any of these have made a difference in your mental clarity, that's great. But if you're like most of the people that I work with, those so-called solutions only left you more frustrated and worried than when you started. That's why I want to be crystal clear that what I'm about to share is unlike anything that you've tried before. It's not based on wishful thinking, but real cutting-edge science. It's a memory-boosting breakthrough backed by more than 10 clinical studies and supported by multiple research papers from places like the Netherlands Institute for Brain Research, Harvard University, the University of Texas, and many more. A breakthrough that finally explains why some people stay mentally sharp well into their 80s and 90s, while others spiral into cognitive decline in their mid-60s. And more importantly, what you can actually do about it. Which is why it's so important that you pay close attention to everything that I'm about to say. Because as a medical doctor with more than 32 years of experience, I've seen firsthand the devastation that memory loss brings to so many seniors. How it turns your golden years of promise and new beginnings into a slow and terrifying decline. How it starts with those frustrating senior moments like forgetting where you left your keys, or losing your train of thought mid-sentence, or blanking on a word that you've used 1,000 times. And then as these episodes begin happening more and more, you start to worry, is this normal? Or is something wrong with me? Soon, every senior moment feels like a dark omen of what lies ahead. And you fear that one day you won't recognize your own children, or you'll lose the most precious thing of all, your identity. For most of us, that's a fate worse than death. And while I know it's scary to think about, the message that I'm about to share is one of hope. Because no matter what you've been told or led to believe in the past, I'll prove to you that memory loss is not an inescapable part of aging. Instead, it all comes down to declining levels of what scientists are now calling vitamin M. This memory vitamin is your brain's most powerful defense against cognitive decline. But when your brain stops producing this vitamin, memory loss accelerates far faster than aging alone could ever explain. And while this discovery is remarkable, what's more important is that it has paved the way for a simple and natural solution, one that can reactivate this memory vitamin to normal levels and restore your cognitive defenses. It's already been validated by over 50,000 men and women who say that it changed their lives. And in this video, I'll show you why I believe it can do the same for you. In just weeks from now, you'll notice that your brain power, your focus, and your memory are starting to return. Imagine recalling names and dates and details without as much mental strain. Imagine no longer having to set timers and keep checklists for everything that you do. Imagine being the kind of person who's mentally sharp and engaged at 70, 80, even 90. Learning new things, enjoying life, and looking forward to the future. That's the reality that could be waiting for you inside this video. And it doesn't matter if you're 55 or 85, whether your memory concerns have just started or you've been worrying for years. I promise this solution is something that you're going to want to see. I put the entire weight of my medical reputation behind that claim. And once you understand the science behind this breakthrough, I'm confident that you'll agree. So give me just a few minutes and I will make it all clear for you. I'll reveal how declining levels of this newly discovered memory vitamin is the real cause of memory loss in most seniors, not aging. I'll tell you about the group of Dutch scientists who recently discovered it and proved that age-related cognitive decline is nothing more than a myth. Plus, I'll expose the hidden neurotoxin in your food and water that's been suppressing this memory vitamin for decades and how to protect yourself from it. And most importantly, I'll share with you the blue algae superfood that's proven to boost levels of vitamin M in your brain. NASA calls it the most powerful food available to mankind. And all of that and more is coming up right now. So please pay close attention, silence any distractions, get comfortable, take notes if you have to, because we're about to get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like I said, my name is Dr. Blaine Schilling, and I'd like to take a moment to explain who I am and why I'm so passionate about this topic. I earned my medical degree from the University of Texas more than 32 years ago, and from there I worked as a physician at the Pickens County Medical Center in Alabama. In those early days of my career, I believed that I was doing everything right. I was respected by both my peers and my patients, and I felt like I was making a difference. But along the way, something started to gnaw at me. It didn't take me long to realize how the conventional treatment methods that I'd learned in medical school only focused on symptoms, but never the root causes. If a patient came to me with a problem, we wrote them a prescription. If the symptoms got worse, we increased the dosage. And if that didn't work, then we switched them to another pill until they felt better. It was like I was putting tape over the check engine light and saying that the car was magically fixed. And whenever I recommended using natural remedies instead of these harsh drugs, my colleagues would laugh or they'd roll their eyes at the idea. But that didn't sit right with me. I mean, if everything I'd been taught in medical school were true, then why were my patients coming back over and over again with the same problems? And why were people getting sicker, not healthier? These questions kept me up at night for years until eventually I hit a breaking point. I simply couldn't go another day writing prescriptions that filled the pockets of pharmaceutical companies while doing nothing to improve my patients' lives. So I decided to do something a little crazy. I pooled all of my money, time, and resources and opened up my own health clinic. That way I could practice medicine on my own terms. My philosophy was simple. Stop chasing after symptoms and start addressing the root causes. It was slow going at first, but over the next decade, I was blessed to have helped more than 8,000 people with everything from hormonal dysfunction to weight loss to blood sugar problems and more. Not just managing their symptoms, but genuinely helping people turn their lives around. And for the first time, I felt proud of the work that I was doing, like I was finally making a real difference in the world.
But all of that changed a few years later when my mother started showing signs of memory loss. Now, you have to understand, my mother has always been sharp as a whip. She was the type of person who could balance a checkbook to the penny without even using a calculator. She could recall a conversation from 10 years ago like it had happened yesterday. And she had this bright, inviting personality that just drew people to her like a magnet. She was one of those people in love with life and all it had to offer. So when my mother finally retired in her late 60s, she was ready to do all of the things that she'd been putting off for decades. She had dreams of growing those big, beautiful rose bushes in her backyard and spending more time playing with her grandkids, and finally going on all those overseas trips that she'd been dreaming of for years. But in a terrible twist of fate, my mother never got to do any of those things. Instead, she spent her golden years in a never-ending spiral of mental decline. And it all started with the little things. Walking into a room and forgetting why she went in there. Losing her train of thought mid-sentence and having to start over. Or sometimes leaving the sink faucet running all day by accident. These so-called senior moments seemed harmless enough at first. But over the next few years, things got much worse, and she went from forgetting where she left her car keys to forgetting what car keys were used for. And then she started having trouble recognizing names and faces. And I worried that there would come a day when she wouldn't recognize me at all. Of course, I sought out every brain specialist I could find. And my mother had a cabinet full of medications that were supposed to help. Donezepam, galantamine, rivastigmine. She tried them all. But they didn't do anything to help her. In fact, the only thing that she had to show for these drugs were sleepless nights and constant nausea. So then I tried overhauling her diet with brain-healthy foods like leafy greens and nuts and fish. But it was all a dead end. Nothing we tried could fix it or even slow it down. Eventually, my mother passed away. But if I'm being honest, her mind was gone long before she took her last breath. Her deteriorating brain had robbed her of her identity and her dignity. And afterwards, I went through this long period of intense reflection and soul searching. Here I was, a successful physician who'd helped thousands of patients, consulted with numerous hospitals, and published scientific papers. But what good was any of that if I couldn't protect the people that mattered to me the most? And that's when it hit me. I realized that even though it was too late for my mother, there were still millions of others that I could help avoid the same fate. The men and women who were at risk of having their golden years cut short by memory loss. But I knew if I was going to do that, I'd need to go all in. So here's what I did. I took all the money and the resources that I had, and I funneled it all towards one singular goal: researching the root cause of memory loss and cognitive decline, and finding a way to keep our memory and brain power intact well into our 70s, 80s, and beyond without relying on harsh drugs or risky treatments. That said, I knew this wouldn't be an easy task. After all, scientists have been studying the brain for decades. So was it even possible that I could find something that they'd overlooked? And to be honest, I wasn't sure. The only thing I knew was that I had to see this through. So for the next several months, I spent countless nights poring over every study that I could find, looking for anything that might point me in the right direction. But over and over, I kept running into the same old answers. Cognitive decline is just a part of getting older. And outside of using risky experimental drugs, there's nothing you can do about it. But I refused to accept that. If that were true, then why do some people stay mentally sharp well into their 80s and 90s? I knew there had to be something else going on. So I kept pushing, scouring through every scientific journal that I could find. But after several months at this pace, all I had to show for my efforts were a stack of coffee-stained research papers and a pair of dark circles under my eyes. Truthfully, I felt like giving up on the whole idea. But that's when I stumbled upon a breakthrough that would change everything for me. I found a research paper that flipped everything I thought I knew about brain health on its head, and it led me to a remarkable discovery. It was published by a group of neuroscientists at the Netherlands Institute for Brain Research, one of the oldest and most respected brain research institutions in Europe, and home to one of the world's largest brain tissue banks for scientific research. And inside this research paper, it proved that the conventional advice that most doctors give for maintaining a strong memory completely misses the mark. You know what I'm talking about.
Do your crossword puzzles, learn a new language, stay mentally active, eat your brain foods like salmon and blueberries and leafy greens, exercise regularly, and stay social. In other words, use it or lose it. Now this is what most doctors still tell their patients to stay mentally sharp after 60. And while mental stimulation and good nutrition certainly can't hurt, these Dutch scientists uncovered what really determines if your brain stays sharp or rapidly declines. In a study, they took 160 seniors and they split them into two groups. Half were healthy controls, people who showed no memory issues into their 70s and 80s, and while the other half were already showing signs of severe memory loss. The researchers wanted to answer one question: what was the difference between their brains? And what they found shocked them, because it had almost nothing to do with their diet, physical fitness, lifestyle, or even their age. Instead, it came down to one important vitamin in their brains. Across the board, whether they were in their early 70s or well into their 80s, the pattern was the same. The healthy seniors showed normal levels of this vitamin at every age. But those who had severe memory loss had almost 80% less of it in their brains. And when they dug deeper, the scientists saw how this vitamin acted like a powerful antioxidant vitamin for their brain, protecting it from toxic damage, even slowing down the aging process. Now, when I read this, I nearly fell out of my chair. I needed to understand exactly where this memory vitamin came from, and more importantly, why some people's brains had so much less of it than others. And that's when I made a fascinating discovery. You see, unlike most vitamins and antioxidants that you can get from foods or supplements, this one is produced inside your body by a tiny pea-sized gland in the center of your brain. It's called the pineal gland. Now, unless you're a doctor or a neuroscientist, you probably have never heard of the pineal gland before. Now, don't let its size fool you, because when it comes to keeping a sharp memory well into the 70s, 80s, and 90s, this tiny gland is actually a very big deal. And here's why. When things are working normally, your pineal gland's job is to produce a constant supply of melatonin. Now, you've probably heard of melatonin before. Maybe you've even taken it as a supplement to help you sleep. But scientists have discovered that the natural melatonin from your pineal gland is much different, because in addition to regulating your sleep cycles, natural melatonin also acts as a powerful neuroprotector for your brain. And according to new research from the University of Texas, melatonin acts as an antioxidant vitamin that protects your brain from age-related damage. Now that's because it's constantly clearing out toxins and inflammation, creating new neurons and connections, and preventing dangerous proteins from spreading as you age. Research proves that melatonin also plays a direct role in boosting long-term memory. Pretty amazing, right? But here's where things go wrong. As we get older, our pineal glands go through a process known as calcification, which means calcium levels build up inside of it and causes it to shrink and harden like a stone. And when this happens, your pineal gland can no longer produce the melatonin that your brain desperately needs. And without that protection, your brain becomes defenseless, and free radicals and toxins that were once neutralized now run rampant. Dangerous proteins that were once cleared away now build up unchecked, and brain cells that were once protected begin to die off. The brain tissue shrivels up and recedes, and your memory centers are slowly destroyed until it finally robs you of control over your own mind. This explains why it's no coincidence that as people get older, they start having trouble sleeping and their memory fades at the same time. Both problems come from the same place: plummeting melatonin levels. But while this discovery was remarkable, there was one question left to answer, and you might be wondering the same thing right now. If natural melatonin is so important for protecting our memories and brain health, why do our pineal glands stop producing it in the first place? Now, on the surface, the answer seems obvious. It's just a natural part of aging. But when I dug deeper, I discovered that aging isn't the whole story. I found a study showing how rates of pineal calcification have increased dramatically in the United States. In the 1970s, only about 16% of American adults showed any signs of pineal calcification. Today, that number has climbed to over 60% of adults. Now, this was a clear sign that something else must be causing this to happen. So I kept digging, and what I discovered shocked me more than anything else. Because the real culprit is a toxic mineral that's found its way into our food and water supply. One that we've been exposed to nearly every day of our lives without realizing it. I'm talking about fluoride. Now, obviously, you know what fluoride is and how it's in our tap water and toothpaste products. You might even know that health experts have long been divided on whether or not it's harmful to us. But that debate was recently settled when a distinguished neuroscientist from Harvard University, Dr. Philippe Grandjean, published a shocking study proving that fluoride is an extremely powerful neurotoxin and that prolonged exposure can decrease your IQ, impair brain function, and lead to severe memory loss. His findings were so controversial that higher-ups at Harvard University tried to pressure him to revise his conclusions. But he refused their threats and was later awarded for his scientific integrity. Dr. Grandjean then went to court and testified under oath that his findings were accurate, concluding that fluoride is definitely neurotoxic and should be removed from the public drinking water. And thanks to his brave and pioneering work, the floodgates have opened into researching fluoride's effects on the brain. And one finding keeps showing up again and again. Fluoride doesn't spread evenly throughout your body. It concentrates in one place more than any other area, your pineal gland. In fact, researchers have found that the pineal gland accumulates more fluoride than any other tissue in the human body. And over time, this toxic buildup causes the gland to harden faster than normal, like a grape shriveling into a raisin, which means melatonin levels continue to drop and your brain loses the protection that it desperately needs. Now, I know that sounds terrifying, but it does get even worse, because it's almost impossible to avoid fluoride exposure if you live in the United States. Recent data showed that 73% of Americans are drinking fluoridated water right now. That's over 209 million people. And even if you avoid drinking tap water, it still absorbs through your skin when you shower. It's also hidden in all kinds of foods and beverages that you buy at the grocery store, because it turns out that fluoride-based pesticides are widely used in industrial farming. So it ends up in everything, from produce to packaged foods. Even herbal teas have high levels of fluoride. So is it any wonder why rates of cognitive decline have been rising every year for decades? It's not just because people are getting older, it's because we've been unknowingly poisoning our brains day after day, year after year. As fluoride builds up in the pineal gland and chokes off melatonin production and accelerates memory loss faster than aging alone ever could. And when I discovered all of this, I'll be frank with you, I was angry. Angry that this information isn't more widely known. Angry that millions of people are suffering with cognitive decline and have no idea why. Angry that the medical establishment continues to ignore this while pushing useless solutions that don't address the real problem. But I also had a renewed sense of hope, and here's why. You see, if the real problem is toxic fluoride disrupting your brain's ability to produce melatonin, then the solution became shockingly clear. We need to flush out the toxic fluoride buildup so that you can rejuvenate your pineal gland and start producing healthy levels of melatonin again, which should restore your brain's natural defenses against memory loss and cognitive decline. Now, that makes sense in theory, right? But exactly how do we do that? Now, I wasn't sure, but I was determined to find out. So once again, I dove deep into research. I pulled every clinical study I could find on fluoride removal, pineal gland health, and natural ways to support melatonin production. I reached out to colleagues in neurology, endocrinology, and toxicology, anyone who might have insight into how to actually solve this problem. But after months of searching, I was surprised to find dozens of peer-reviewed studies showing that with the right combination of natural compounds, it's not only possible to help flush fluoride from the body and support healthy pineal gland function, but it can be done safely using ingredients that have been used for centuries in traditional medicine. So I made a list of the most promising ingredients, closely examined the scientific evidence behind each one, and eliminated any that weren't backed by solid clinical research, until finally I was left with a handful of powerful natural compounds that the research suggested could detoxify the pineal gland of fluoride, restore healthy melatonin production, and immediately give your brain the protection that it needs. I'm going to share these incredible ingredients with you now. So please pay close attention, because this information could be the key to preventing cognitive decline and regaining the mental sharpness that you enjoyed decades ago. The first ingredient is a tree fruit that's been used in Ayurvedic medicine for over 3,000 years. In fact, it's mentioned in ancient Sanskrit scriptures dating back to 1200 BC. The tree only grows in the driest savannas of Africa, and it produces these long brown pods almost like curved fingers with a hard outer shell. Inside those pods is a sticky dark fruit that's one of nature's most powerful detoxifiers. It's called tamarind. And now what makes this fruit so powerful is a binding compound inside of it called tartaric acid. This acid essentially acts like a magnet for heavy metals and toxins in your system, including fluoride. But here's what makes it truly special. It doesn't just grab the fluoride floating around in your bloodstream, it actually reaches deep into your tissues where fluoride hides and accumulates over the years and gently pulls it out so that it can be flushed from the body. Now, I know that sounds impressive, but let me show you the proof. Recently, a group of researchers wanted to put this ancient detox remedy to the test. First, they traveled to areas that had notoriously high levels of fluoride in the drinking water. Then they gave participants a small amount of tamarind extract daily for just 18 days. And what they saw in the urine samples shocked them. In less than 3 weeks, fluoride levels in their urine increased by 37%. It was like the tamarind was sucking it out of their bodies like a magnet. But that's not even the most impressive part. Because in a follow-up study, the same researchers discovered that when a higher dose of tamarind extract was used for 2 weeks, it also broke down and flushed out toxic fluoride from bone and tissues, where it was deeply embedded and often difficult to remove. When I read that, I knew I had found my star ingredient. A completely natural detoxifier that's powerful enough to pull fluoride out of the pineal gland tissue, flush it out of the body for good, no harsh drugs or expensive treatments necessary. Now, in theory, getting this toxic fluoride out would allow the pineal gland to produce melatonin at normal healthy levels again. But I didn't want to leave that up to chance. Instead, I wanted to find a natural and reliable way to activate melatonin production in the brain so that we could ensure the full rejuvenation of your pineal gland. And I was so excited when I discovered this strange blue algae that does exactly that. This algae only grows in high-altitude volcanic lakes, which are so mineral-rich and extreme that no other organisms can survive the conditions. It's been harvested and used in medicine for centuries, going all the way back to the Aztecs. And recently, scientists at NASA called this blue algae the most powerful food available to mankind. In fact, NASA considers it essential to keep astronauts alive on long-duration space missions. It's called spirulina. And when I dug deeper into the research on this incredible nutrient, I discovered that in addition to its numerous health benefits and medicinal properties, spirulina is also a powerful and natural melatonin booster for your brain. That's because it's one of nature's richest sources of tryptophan, which is the amino acid that your pineal gland uses to produce melatonin. Now, you can think of it as the fuel that your brain needs to restart melatonin production. But what really got me excited about spirulina was the clinically proven effect of restoring memory and cognitive function. Well, let me show you. In a double-blind, placebo-controlled study published in 2022, researchers took 80 seniors with cognitive impairment and divided them into two groups. Half received spirulina extract daily, the other half received a placebo. After 12 weeks, the researchers gave them each memory and cognition tests, and the results were staggering. The folks who took spirulina saw their memory scores improve by 55%, while the placebo group only saw a meager improvement of 13%. That means that the spirulina group improved nearly 4 times the rate of those that were taking the placebo. In clinical study environments, such dramatic improvement is nearly unheard of. But it gets even better, and this is what really convinced me that this could work for you. The spirulina group also showed significant improvements in visual memory, which is their ability to remember objects, faces, and details, while the placebo group's visual memory scores actually declined. And perhaps most telling of all, the seniors also reported significant improvements in their sleep quality, which means that after 12 weeks of ingesting tryptophan-rich spirulina, their brains were finally producing healthy levels of melatonin again, which explains why their memory and cognition scores improved so dramatically over such a short time. Melatonin, the brain's #1 neuroprotector, was once again clearing away the inflammation, the free radicals, and the plaques. Now that's pretty amazing, right? When I read that study, I knew spirulina had to be the cornerstone of my solution. And look, I know we just covered a lot of science, but stay with me here, because the next ingredient might even be the most important one yet. Now, I want to make sure that you see all of the proof for how these ingredients work together. You see, at this point, I wanted to make sure that both tamarind and spirulina could reach the pineal gland as efficiently as possible. And since the pineal gland is one of the few parts of your brain with direct access to your bloodstream, I realized that if you can increase blood flow to the brain, then you can create a direct path for these nutrients to reach the pineal gland faster and more effectively. And that's exactly what our third ingredient does. It's called French maritime pine bark extract. Now, this extract increases blood flow because it's rich in natural compounds called proanthocyanidins. Now, these compounds act as blood flow boosters that relax and widen your blood vessels, allowing for oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to reach your brain more effectively, which is perfect for delivering spirulina and tamarind directly to your pineal gland. But even better, pine bark extract is also clinically proven to bring powerful memory-boosting benefits. Now, let me show you. In a year-long clinical study published in the Journal of Neurosurgical Sciences, researchers recruited 77 adults between the age of 55 and 70. Half of the group took pine bark extract daily for 12 months. The other half followed the same lifestyle plan, but without the extract. And after 12 months, the pine bark group saw their memory scores improve by 37%, attention span improved by 41%, decision-making improved by 72%, and oxidative stress, one of the key culprits of brain aging, dropped by 28%. It was like the entire brain was suddenly aging in reverse. People were regaining their mental sharpness, their focus, their memory, all at the same time, just from taking pine bark extract. Now, imagine what could happen when you combine it with the melatonin boosting power of spirulina and the fluoride flushing ability of tamarind. Think about what that can mean for your life. Waking up in the morning with a clear head, no more mental fog, feeling mentally sharper than you have in decades. Your spouse and your partner seeing the changes in your energy and focus. Younger people looking at you and wondering, how does she stay so sharp? That's the future that these three powerful ingredients can help unlock. And when combined together in the right proportions, they create a synergistic effect, targeting the real root cause of memory decline that mainstream medicine continues to ignore. And I'll show you how to get your hands on these ingredients in just a moment. But first, I need to tell you about a few other clinically proven ingredients that I discovered. One was Bacopa monnieri. Now, what makes Bacopa so remarkable is its ability to strengthen the neural pathways between brain cells, creating what researchers call memory highways that allow information to flow faster. And the clinical research speaks for itself. In one double-blind study conducted at Southern Cross University, researchers gave 98 adults with cognitive impairment either Bacopa or a placebo for 12 weeks. And the results were eye-popping. The Bacopa group showed significant improvements in word recall and memory retention, increasing their long-term memory scores by 24%, while the placebo group showed no change at all. And that's just one of them. Another ingredient I discovered was Yamabushitake, also known as the mountain priest mushroom. In Japan, Yamabushitake was used for centuries as a natural remedy for brain fog. That's because this remarkable fungus stimulates nerve growth factor, a protein which helps your brain grow new brain cells and repair damaged ones. And people have seen incredible results after taking it. For example, in one double-blind clinical trial published in the Journal of Biomedical Research, 68 patients with cognitive impairment took Yamabushitake extract for 12 weeks, and their cognitive function scores increased by 23% on average across the board, with particular improvement in spatial memory and object recognition, meaning they could remember faces and places and details better than before. While the placebo group, those who received sugar pills, they showed no improvement at all. Next we have moringa, also known as the phantom miracle tree. Moringa is one of the most nutrient-dense plants on Earth, and it has the unique ability to activate your brain's natural antioxidant defenses, enzymes that neutralize free radicals and toxins before they can damage your neurons. In laboratory research with animals, moringa protected neurons across all 4 key regions of the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, and significantly improved spatial memory too. And finally, to round out the list and make sure that nothing's left to chance, I added a few more powerful natural ingredients like ginkgo biloba, chlorella, boron, neem, and lemon juice powder, all of which have a long and proven history for flushing toxins from the body, increasing blood flow to the brain, and protecting neurons and neuroplasticity. And given just how impressive these ingredients are on their own, imagine how powerful they could be if we combine them all together. I knew I had to find out for myself. After all, that's the only way that I'd know for sure that they worked like the research suggested they would. But when I went looking for a formula that combined all of these ingredients in the right doses, I couldn't find one. Not a single product on the market had put these pieces together. Now, maybe it's because the research is still so new that most companies haven't caught on yet, or because sourcing high-quality versions of these ingredients is so expensive and complicated. Look, I'm not exactly sure why, but I can tell you that nobody had thought to combine all of these ingredients like this before. So I set out to be the first. And after doing a bit of homework, I realized that finding quality suppliers for these ingredients could take months of hard work, possibly years. So I decided that in order to make the very best formula that it could be, I needed to find the right manufacturing partner. And after talking with some of the most highly rated companies in the world, I decided to partner with the leading nutraceutical company, Nutriville. Now, they've helped over 500,000 men and women improve their health with natural science-backed solutions. They operate out of an FDA-registered GMP-certified facility right here in the United States. And while most supplement companies cut corners by using cheap, contaminated ingredients, Nutriville conducts rigorous testing on every single ingredient for purity, potency, and safety. So, after several months of hard work, we were able to finally combine these ingredients into the most powerful memory protection solution in the world. One that's now been proven by more than 50,000 men and women whose stories you'll hear about in just a moment. And it's why I'm now so proud to be the first to present it to you. I call it Pineal Guardian X, the only formula on the planet that's been meticulously crafted to flush toxic fluoride from your pineal gland and restore your brain's natural production of melatonin. The master neuroprotector that shields your brain and keeps your mind sharp. Simply place 2 full droppers of the liquid solution under your tongue before drifting off to sleep, and let the formula go to work. First, Pineal Guardian X seeks out toxic fluoride deposits in your pineal gland, binding them like a magnet and flushing them out naturally. It then reactivates your pineal gland's melatonin production, flooding your brain with this powerful neuroprotector that clears away fog and shields your neurons from age-related damage. At the same time, it increases blood flow directly to your brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients while carrying away toxins. And lastly, it delivers powerful nootropic compounds that support neural pathways, stimulate new brain cells, and fortify your natural defenses against cognitive decline. The key is Pineal Guardian X's unique blend of world-class ingredients that are working together to flush out the toxins and restore your brain's natural defenses, allowing melatonin to flow freely again and keeping your memories intact. The transformation begins almost immediately. In a matter of days, you'll notice the mental fog beginning to lift, almost like a haze clearing to reveal a crisp, clear landscape that you forgot was there. Your ability to focus will sharpen, allowing you to zero in on details with complete clarity. Names that once sat on the tip of your tongue will come to you effortlessly. You'll follow conversations without losing your train of thought. And because your pineal gland will be producing healthy levels of melatonin again, you'll enjoy deeper, more restful sleep, waking up refreshed instead of groggy. Simply put, Pineal Guardian X puts you back in control of your mind, your memories, and your future. So you can stop living in fear of cognitive decline and start enjoying your life again. Since its release, Pineal Guardian X has helped over 50,000 men and women reclaim their mental clarity and confidence. People like Margaret Holloway from Austin, Texas, who wrote in to say, "Before I started using Pineal Guardian X, I was terrified. I kept forgetting little things. Where I put my keys, what I walked into the room for, names of people that I'd known for years. I started avoiding social situations because I was embarrassed. My daughter suggested that I try this, and I'm so glad I did. Within 3 weeks, I noticed I wasn't second-guessing myself anymore. I could follow conversations without losing my place. Last month, I hosted Thanksgiving dinner for 14 people, and I didn't miss a beat. My family keeps asking what changed, and I just smile and say, I found something that works." And Richard Brennan from Scottsdale, Arizona, who said,
I'm 71 years old, and I'd pretty much accepted that my sharp mind was behind me. I used to be the guy who remembered everything, birthdays and phone numbers, you name it. And then I started slipping, and my wife would tell me something, and 10 minutes later I'd have no memory of the conversation. I felt like I was losing myself. I've been taking Pineal Guardian X for 4 months now, and the difference is remarkable. I'm reading books again, I'm doing crossword puzzles, and last week I beat my son at chess for the first time in years. That's when I knew it was working. And Susan Chin from Portland, Oregon. I was skeptical. I'd tried so many supplements that promised the world and delivered nothing, but my best friend kept insisting that I try this. She said it changed her life, so I figured, what do I have to lose? I'm glad I listened. The brain fog that I've been living with for years started lifting within the first 2 weeks. I sleep better, I think clearer. I've already ordered more bottles, and I've told everyone in my book club about it. I receive emails like this every single day, and when I read between the lines, I realize they all say the same thing. I feel like myself again. And that's what this is really all about. Not just sharper memory or clearer thinking, but getting your confidence, your independence, and your peace of mind back. The peace of mind that comes from finally doing something real about your brain health. Not just crossword puzzles and hoping for the best. Something that actually works. No more lying awake wondering if these senior moments are the beginning of something worse. No more quiet dread every time you blank on a name or lose your train of thought. No more fear of becoming a burden or of losing your independence or of slowly fading away while your family watches helplessly. Instead, you're one of those super seniors who's still mentally active, learning new things and keeping up with people half your age. You're the one that your kids look to for advice and counsel, the one that your grandchildren love to visit and spend time with, the one that people observe from afar and think, I hope I'm like that when I'm their age. Still sharp, still yourself, still living life on your own terms. That's what Pineal Guardian X has done for more than 50,000 men and women so far. And it's waiting for you too.
So, let's talk about how you can claim your supply of Pineal Guardian X today. First, you should know that I take great pride in this formula. As a medical doctor for the past 32 years, I wouldn't attach my name to anything that I didn't 100% believe in. Most companies will use cheap diluted extracts that barely contain the active ingredients listed on the labels. But we don't cut corners like that. So when you compare Pineal Guardian X to the dozens of generic memory booster supplements on the market, the ones that are stuffed with cheap fillers and underdosed ingredients that don't do anything, then this formula is in a completely different category. The great people at Nutriville and I have gone to great lengths to make sure that every ingredient in this formula is the highest quality and potency possible. Take our tamarind extract, for example. We source it from high-quality suppliers who use traditional harvesting methods that preserve its potency, specifically its high concentration of tartaric acid, the compound that binds to fluoride and flushes it from your body. Our spirulina comes from high-altitude lakes where it grows in pristine, nutrient-rich conditions, the same high-potency form that's used in the clinical studies that I mentioned earlier. And our pine bark extract has to meet rigorous testing so that it can reliably increase the blood flow to your brain. And to make sure that every batch meets the highest standards, we manufacture Pineal Guardian X in an FDA-registered facility right here in the United States, which strictly enforces good manufacturing practices for potency, purity, and safety. Bottom line, quality like this doesn't come cheap. In fact, I'm sure you'll agree that nothing worth having comes cheap. However, when you compare the price of Pineal Guardian X with the dozens of generic brain supplements containing outdated ingredients that give you little or no results, it'll seem like a bargain. And given the lack of real solutions that actually address the root cause of memory decline, we could easily offer this at a very high price. And you know what? I'm quite certain that our customers would be happy with it. Now think about it. How much would you be willing to invest to wake up each morning with a clear, sharp mind? To stop worrying about whether these senior moments are the beginning of something worse? To feel like yourself again, confident, independent, fully in control? What would you be willing to spend if you were absolutely positively sure that this would work? $200? $300? $500? Let's be honest, you can't put a price on your independence, your brain health, or your peace of mind. That's why we feel that the retail value of this product is a steal at $150. It's affordable enough for most folks while still allowing us to cover our costs and make a small profit. However, Our goal with Pineal Guardian X is to put it into the hands of people who deserve to live a life free from the constant worry about their brain health and memories. And since we work directly with our suppliers to source the highest quality ingredients, we cut out all the middlemen, which means that we're able to produce this premium formula and pass the savings directly to you. So you don't need to invest $150 to flush out the fluoride and restore your brain's natural melatonin production. In fact, you don't need to invest $125 or even $100. That's because we can offer you Pineal Guardian X for just $69. That's more than 50% off its retail value. But that's not all. Because you've made it this far into the presentation, it's obvious that you're serious about protecting your brain health. And you're interested in seeing how this one-of-a-kind solution could help you, the same way it's helping thousands of others. Which is why I want to give you the opportunity to try this breakthrough formula at a special price available only through this website. Today, and for a limited time, I'd like to offer you a bottle of Pineal Guardian X, a 30-day supply, for just $39. That's another $30 off. And all I ask in return is that you send us your success story once you put this formula to the test. But please note, this is the only place you'll find Pineal Guardian X at such a low price. This deal is not available on Amazon or anywhere else. And here's the best part. While many users report noticeable improvements within the first few weeks, the real transformation happens when you take Pineal Guardian X for 90 days or more. That's because Pineal Guardian X's ingredients work together to systematically flush out fluoride that's been building up in your pineal gland for years, sometimes decades. And it takes time to flush out this toxin and restore your melatonin production back to healthy levels. Which means the longer you take Pineal Guardian X, the sharper you feel. Think of it as like compound interest. Every night you take Pineal Guardian X, you deposit money into your bank account. And the balance keeps growing. First, a little at a time. And then faster and faster. And before you know it, you're sitting on a nice nest egg. Well, the same thing happens with your brain. Each time you invest in your brain health by taking Pineal Guardian X, you'll feel a bit sharper. The fog lifts, the recall gets faster. And you start remembering names and dates and details that you'd written off years ago. This builds your confidence even more. And as you continue taking Pineal Guardian X and restoring your pineal gland, your progress improves exponentially. The next thing you know, you're sending us an email raving about your results. Like Dorothy Weston from Raleigh, North Carolina, who wrote in to say, I was starting to dread phone calls. I'd be talking to my sister or my grandkids and completely lose my train of thought mid-sentence. The silence while I scrambled to remember what I was saying was humiliating. My husband found Pineal Guardian X online and convinced me to try it. And after a month, I realized the words were there when I needed them. And last week, I talked to my daughter for over an hour and it felt natural. I really love this product. And Frank DeLuca from Tampa, Florida, who said, I'm 68. I ran my own contracting business for 35 years. About 2 years back, things started slipping. I'd forget appointments and I'd walk into the supply store and blank on what I came for. So I started writing everything down, which I'd never done before in my life. I tried Pineal Guardian X and I noticed a big difference in my mental energy after a few weeks. I also slept through the night for the first time in years, which made the whole purchase worth it to me. And Barbara Nichols from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'll be honest, I almost didn't order this. I've wasted so much money on supplements that did absolutely nothing, but something about the science behind it made sense to me. So I thought, one more try. About a month after taking it, I noticed that I was sleeping deeper than I had in years. And when I woke up, my mind felt clearer, like someone had wiped a foggy window. I'm on my third bottle now, and the difference is night and day. Now, considering our most successful customers take Pineal Guardian X month after month, I'd like to suggest what I believe is a huge win-win for both of us. Now, here's what it's all about. By shipping to you in bulk rather than sending you one bottle at a time, we can cut down on costs. And we pass these savings on to you. So not only do you pay less for each bottle of Pineal Guardian X, you also have plenty on hand for maximum results month after month. Plus, you don't have to worry about running out and potentially ruining your progress. For instance, our most popular package is the 3-bottle option, which saves you an extra $30, bringing your cost down to just $59 per bottle. It even comes with free shipping. You won't spend a dime to get your delivery. Now, maybe you've been dealing with memory issues for a long time, or maybe you want to make sure that you fully flush out that fluoride buildup, or maybe you just like the security of having enough to see maximum results.
That's why more and more of our customers are choosing to invest in the larger pack of 6 bottles. And they love that it saves them an extra $180, which means each bottle works out to only $39. That's just $1.30 per day to finally protect your memory and keep your mind sharp. And remember, this deal is not available on Amazon or anywhere else. The only way to get Pineal Guardian X for about $1 and change each day is right from this page. You should also know that our special bottling keeps Pineal Guardian X fresh for at least a full year on your shelf. So don't hesitate to stock up and save. However, as with any great deal, there is a catch. Now look, I hate to be pushy, but due to an extremely limited supply, I can't guarantee that this offer will be available if you choose to leave this page and come back later. In fact, I can't guarantee you'll be able to buy Pineal Guardian X at all, in which case you'll be waiting for our next batch before you'll be able to try it. And most likely it'll be at a higher price. So I urge you to stock up today for maximum results. And know this, Pineal Guardian X comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not thrilled by how it's changed your life, by how it's sharpened your memory and lifted your brain fog, by how it's given you back the confidence and mental clarity that you thought were gone forever, I insist that you send it back within 365 days and we'll promptly issue a full refund. No hassles, no hard feelings. I know you may have had negative experiences with other solutions in the past, so I wanted to take all the risk out of it for you so that you can give Pineal Guardian X a fair try. Yes, you can even send back the empty bottles and we'll still refund your money. Just get in touch with our friendly customer support staff and they'll be glad to assist you. Our contact information is right on the receipt that comes with your package. And I'll make sure that you're taken care of quickly because that's the way we like to do business. I want your experience with Pineal Guardian X to be a good one. Again, if you're not 100% satisfied, let's even say overjoyed with your experience, just let us know and I'll refund every penny of your purchase price. Meaning you'll have gotten to try this breakthrough formula absolutely free for an entire year and still get every cent of your purchase back. So go ahead and click the button below this video. If the order page appears, you're in luck. We still have some bottles in stock. If not, please add yourself to our waiting list and we'll let you know as soon as more bottles are available. But keep in mind the price will likely be back up to its retail value soon. So if we still have bottles in stock, consider the multi-bottle option to save the most money. And when you click the button below, you'll be taken to our secure server, which is encrypted with the latest SSL 256-bit security for your total privacy and protection. That's the same security that major e-commerce giants like Amazon use. Simply enter your order information and we will rush ship your supply of Pineal Guardian X in a discreet package straight to your door. Or if you prefer to order by phone, just dial 1-302-251-2961 and tell the friendly agent who answers that you're calling for the Pineal Guardian X special offer. Our team has been instructed to help you choose the best package for your needs. But please note, this offer is in extremely high demand. So if the lines are busy, please keep trying until one of our team members answers. The one thing I suggest you not do is delay, because it can take up to 6 months for us to receive a new batch of Pineal Guardian X. For instance, several of our ingredients are shipped from overseas. And sure, this delays things considerably, but it's worth it since they're the same high-quality form that's used in the clinical studies that I mentioned earlier. And once the ingredients are ready, they get tested to ensure purity and potency, and next they're shipped to our manufacturer here in the USA for formulation and bottling. The finished product is then sent to our third-party lab for even more testing, and we don't receive it in our warehouse until it passes all the tests. As you can see, that's a lot of steps and many people are involved. But it's necessary to ensure that you get the highest quality solution that's safe and actually works. However, with everything going on in the world right now, our supply chain is a bit fragile, and with rising demand, Pineal Guardian X is often on back order. So if you decide not to try it today, I can't promise it'll be available later. I'm telling you this because after watching this video to the end, I don't want you to leave empty-handed, only to come back a few days later and find out that we're out of stock. Especially when thousands of people across the country just like you are rediscovering what it's like to have a sharp mind again. Happy to remember names and faces without that awkward pause, and no longer living with that constant fear about what's going to happen in the future. Now, because you're watching this right now, we most likely have some Pineal Guardian X in stock and ready to ship. So when you click the button below, don't forget to look at the multi-bottle packages. These are your best deals to save you the most money. Plus, you'll have plenty of Pineal Guardian X on hand for the next several months, which means you won't risk running out while we work hard to prepare our next batch. That's why I urge you not to wait if you're still on the fence. Remember, Pineal Guardian X must do everything I said it would and more. Flush out the fluoride, restore your melatonin production, and help you experience a sharper, clearer mind every single day. Or, I insist that you send back the bottles, even if they're all empty, for a prompt and courteous refund. You're protected by our 365-day full money-back guarantee, which means you can rest easy while you put this breakthrough formula to the test. And then decide. See for yourself why thousands are raving about Pineal Guardian X, and how it's helping them live free from worry and experience a sharp mind at any age. I want to offer you a sincere thank you for watching this presentation today, and congratulations for taking what I am confident will be a tremendous step towards a better life. If you're still on the fence, I'd like to ask you to do me one last small favor. I want you to take a moment to imagine what will happen if you decide not to take action now. For instance, you may decide to keep looking around at various options. This decision-making process might drag on for weeks or even months. But while you're being thorough and carefully considering all your choices, that fluoride will continue to accumulate in your pineal gland. Your brain's natural melatonin production will continue to decline, and your brain will age faster than it should, leading to more and more memory slips. Believe me, I've seen far too many people who are desperate for a solution come across information like this and then disappear for months before finally returning with their problem having worsened. Because deep down, they just couldn't pull the trigger on taking action. Maybe they were hesitant to try something new, or maybe they were just secretly hoping that it would somehow get better on its own. Whatever the reason, I can assure you that standing by and letting more time pass is not a solution. In fact, it's the opposite of one. Because every day that goes by, the fluoride builds up more and your melatonin drops lower. And when your mind is constantly foggy and forgetful and unreliable, it can make you feel like a prisoner to your own aging brain. You'll continue second-guessing yourself, relying on sticky notes and reminders, and watching your loved ones exchange those worried glances when they think that you're not looking. Always wondering if this is the beginning of something worse. Instead, now is your opportunity to get real results when nothing else has worked before. To experience a clear, sharp mind like you had 10 or even 15 years ago. Enjoy what it feels like to be fully present and confident throughout the day, and start living your life with a renewed sense of independence, where you're mentally active, engaged, and enjoying your golden years to their fullest. That's the life waiting for you on the other side of this decision, and it's just one click away. So don't wait, because our discounted bundles and free shipping won't last forever. Click the button below and claim your supply now. Our best customers are selecting the 6-bottle option for maximum savings and results. And remember, you're fully protected by our 365-day money-back guarantee, so there's absolutely no risk to trying this breakthrough solution. The only risk is doing nothing and letting the brain fog and the memory slips and the constant worry continue. Right now, you have an opportunity to put an end to all of that and enjoy the confidence and independence you truly deserve. In the end, that's the reason that I dedicated myself to this research in the first place, because there's nothing more rewarding than seeing what happens to people when you help them take control of their brain health. And I want you to experience the transformation that so many others are enjoying already. So please click on the button below and give Pineal Guardian X a try right now. We guarantee that you'll be satisfied or you don't pay. It's that simple. Thank you so much for watching. Still there? I know I just covered a lot. So let me answer some of the most common questions we receive. Linda from Tampa, Florida asks, how does Pineal Guardian X actually work? Well, that's a great question, and here's the simple version. Over time, fluoride from your drinking water, toothpaste, and other sources builds up in your pineal gland, causing it to calcify. When that happens, your brain produces less melatonin, the master neuroprotector that shields your neurons and keeps your memory sharp. Pineal Guardian X works by flushing out that toxic fluoride buildup, reactivating your pineal gland's natural melatonin production and flooding your brain with powerful nootropic compounds that support neural pathways and protect against cognitive decline. It's not a temporary fix. It targets the root cause. Robert from Denver, Colorado asks, who should take Pineal Guardian X? If you're experiencing any signs of memory decline, forgetting names or losing your train of thought or walking into rooms and forgetting why you're there, then Pineal Guardian X was made for you. But honestly, with over 200 million Americans exposed to fluoride in their drinking water every day, I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to protect their brain health as they age, even if you're not experiencing noticeable memory issues yet. Pineal Guardian X can help keep your mind sharp and your pineal gland functioning optimally for years to come. Patricia from Phoenix, Arizona asks, are there any side effects? Is it safe? Pineal Guardian X is made from 100% natural ingredients. No harsh chemicals, no stimulants, no dangerous drugs. It's manufactured in an FDA-registered, GMP-certified facility right here in the United States, and every batch is third-party tested for purity, potency, and safety. Tens of thousands of people have used Pineal Guardian X with zero reported side effects. That said, if you have a medical condition or you're taking a prescription medication, it's always a good idea to consult your doctor before starting any new supplement. James from Atlanta, Georgia asks, how fast will I see results? Everyone is different. It depends on how long fluoride has been building up in your system or how much damage has been done. That said, many of our customers report feeling sharper and more focused within the first 2 or 3 weeks. The brain fog starts to lift and names come easier. Sleep improves. For the full transformation, completely flushing out years of fluoride buildup and restoring healthy melatonin production, we recommend taking Pineal Guardian X for at least 90 to 180 days. That's why our best customers choose the 3 or 6 bottle packages. Carol from Seattle, Washington asks, what if it doesn't work for me? Then you don't pay a dime. Pineal Guardian X comes with a 365-day, no questions asked money-back guarantee. If you're not thrilled with your results for any reason at all, just contact our customer support team and we will refund every penny. You don't even have to send the bottles back. We take all the risk so that you don't have to. Tom from Chicago, Illinois asks, how do I order? Easy. Just click one of the buttons below and choose your package. For the best results and the biggest savings, I recommend the 6-bottle option. It gives you a full 6 months of protection at just $39 per bottle. Once you complete your order, we'll rush your supply of Pineal Guardian X straight to your door in a discreet package. You're less than a week away from taking the first step towards a sharper, clearer mind. This presentation is coming to a close. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Go ahead and choose your package now. Use Pineal Guardian X as directed for at least 30 days, and then reach out and let me know what you think. I can't wait to hear your success story. Thanks for watching.